Welcome back. Thanks for joining us, Lewis.
Hello. How's it going?
It's good.
Good, good, good.
Wonderful to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime. We have a lot to talk about. There's a lot that's gone on since the last time you were on the show.
Yeah. It's been exciting. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. It's been crazy.
So, last time you talked about how you've been doing a lot of modeling. How's that going?
Yes, the modelling's going well. Yes, it's good to sort of get back into it because I actually did modelling before I was an actor. Funny enough, I've always been sort of an actor before as a professional actor. I did it before drama school, and then I completely scrapped it, and then went into drama school. Went sort of delved in deep to the acting, and then it's nice to sort of come back to it and sort of go back into that world a little bit. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice to sort of be back, I guess.
Have you always had a love for both of those worlds? Or have.
I feel like acting is my main passion, but modelling just sort of it complements each other, I think, and you meet quite a lot of actors. Like I've recently just met an actor at a model shoot who I was about to be working with. Funny enough, so a lot of actors do modelling, so it's always quite a good way to sort of even network and meet some other people and just sort of hear about different projects and whatnot. So I feel like they belong in the same world a little bit, which is quite nice.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know that a lot of overlapping occurred. So it's
Yeah,
great to hear
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, it's kind of you get some like big actors that sort of go into modelling, and then you get some that sort of do both at the same time. Like I had a project I've just done recently, like a little filming project that we did, and just before I had a model shoot, and I met this guy on the shoot, and we just sort of just a small world. He was on the same exact thing I was about to be on, and he just said like he did the same thing as me. He was more of a model, and then sort of fell in love with acting at the same time, and then now does sort of. I think he's the same as me. His passion's mainly acting, but I
Mhm.
think he does modelling because it's very sort of similar. I guess there's a lot, like he says, over a lot of overlapping. So yeah, and it's fun as well. It's fun, and you meet a lot of people, and that's yeah, I enjoy it.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, with having both of these worlds going on, what
Hmm.
was your first acting role that kind of created this love for you?
Oh, what's the first sort of role that made me think that I want to be an actor? That kind of
Yeah.
role. It's actually quite an interesting story. So, I was 11 when it happened,
Wow, that's
and
young.
I actually had stage fright as a kid. Like, my mum and dad would remind me a lot that any sort of nativity plays or the typical stuff you do when you're really young, I
Hmm.
would always cry. Like, I hated being on stage. I like hated it. Like, I was a very sort of bit of an anxious kid. And then I don't know what happened to me when I was about 11. I think I just said fuck it, and I went for like a bigger role in a local play. It was a Cinderella Rockefeller play. I remember it, and I think we went for Dandini, like the third or fourth main character, which I've never done before. Like never ever would have done that in my first 10 years of my life. And then yeah, I was 11. I think I just said, you know what, I'm gonna try out for a bigger role. Got the role, and then it just sort of clicked. Like I just had this sort of buzz when I was really young of people laughing at your jokes when you're on the stage, and people sort of giving you, compliments after and recognition for what you've done, and that started it really. I sort of never looked back after that. I instantly went to some theatre schools and drama clubs, did it at school, and then that was it. It just sort of never stopped. And then obviously eventually when you get to drama school and then stuff like that, it gets quite serious. Well, not serious, but like you then start thinking, how can I make a career out of this? And yeah, but that was the main. I kind of just said, I thought, you know what, I've never ever gone for a big role in that one of these school plays. I'm just going to go for it, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Wow, that's inspiring for a lot of people who may not think that the impossible is possible.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't realize how much you love something until you just go for it. Like, because I would have thought like, oh, I'd hate that, having all these lines. Do you know what I mean? And all these
Mm.
people looking at me. But then it's really weird. Once I did it and went over that line, I was like, oh my god, no, I love it. Like, kind of once you go into that, push past the fear, you realize that there's a lot of things you actually really do love. But it's just getting past the fear is the big thing.
So, did you just continue to raise your bar over the time?
Yeah, I think so. I went to a few like theatre school. Went to Sylvia Young, which is quite a prestigious school in London. Did like a few summer schools there. Then I did it at school, and I went for bigger roles and like did drama clubs. And then modelling sort of came about because I thought this is something I can do whilst I'm being an actor and make some money. Obviously, and as a kid, it's like a big deal making a bit of money on the job when you're a
Hmm.
teenager. And then went to drama school, obviously, and then yeah, and then raised the bar by doing stage combat. So I learned how to do stunts as well, and fighting for films. And because I always I was never a dancer, I was never a singer, and I was kind of, I looked at all my friends who were also actors, and a lot of them could dance, a lot of them could sing or do other things. And I thought, I don't have that. I'm just an actor. So I thought, what could I, add that string to your bow? What could I add? And then I sort of then looked at doing stage combat. And I love action films. I love horror films, and a lot of them sort of having, a lot of kill scenes or a lot of action
Mhm.
scenes require like stuntmen or something like that. So I was thinking, what if I was an actor that could do his own stunts and I don't need a stuntman? That was kind of the idea. And then went to drama school and studied stage combat. And that's how sort of, I guess, I raised the bar, I guess.
So is when you're looking at roles that you take on now,
Hmm.
do you look for more of those action-packed roles where you are able to incorporate doing those stunts?
Yeah. I think like I don't like completely cut out any role, but I feel like when I get a role that has action in it or kill scenes or something like that for a horror film, I do get more excited. Like when I get a role sent to me and it says, it's a I don't know, a martial arts film or an action film or you'll be required to do some physical things. I do get more excited. I do think,
Mhm.
okay, that's because it's just more me. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Like I can show more of what I can do. More of my skill set. So yeah, I don't sort of disregard any role, but when them ones do come, I do get a bit more of a tingle in my stomach, I think.
So I think I want to kind of shift gears a little bit
Hmm.
and talk about some of the roles that you have actually been in and immersed yourself into.
Yes.
And my first role seeing you in was, of course, Tigger.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And absolutely love you as Tigger.
Thank you. Appreciate
Just
that.
gotta
Thank
put that
you.
out there.
Thank you.
Um, so where would you like to see Tigger go now? I know we have the Pooniverse and going, but
Hmm.
the Pooniverse going on. My bad.
Yeah.
But where would you like to see your character as Tigger m- move into?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think. I feel like with Tigger, I feel like I don't know, maybe explore. I've had a lot of like people message me and say, "Why is he in a cage? Like, why is he locked up? What made him so bad?" And I guess like you don't see as much of him in Winnie 2. Like you see like a little sort of teaser of what he's capable of. But I feel like I'd love to see more of that crazy side of Tigger and just show, because obviously the other guys are crazy. Like Pooh's crazy, Owl's crazy,
Hmm.
Piglet, they're all crazy. But like a lot of people ask me, I get a lot of DMs saying, why are you in a cage? Like why are you so crazy? Why are you in a straitjacket? Why do the other guys leave you and leave you in this cage? And I think it'd be cool to sort of develop that and delve into sort of how crazy he really is as a character. And then maybe that the Pooniverse or Winnie Free is a great example to sort of show more of Tigger and how sort of sadistic he is and why he's kept in a cage at the start of Winnie 2. So I think that'd be fun, just to show how
Okay.
even more of a crazy side to him, if it's possible, to show how evil he is.
Could you see Tigger having his own movie?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say too much. Like, I have to sort of zip up my lips a little bit. But yeah, I think I don't know what I can say.
Okay.
I'm smiling, so that's a good indicator.
I feel like
Um, yeah.
between Pooh 1 and 2, with that year gap,
Hmm.
and how you have the little narrative in Pooh 1,
Yeah.
that there's all this time frame
Hmm.
that you can kind of see where Tigger evolved.
Yeah.
There's all this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I feel like as well at the start of Winnie 2, you sort of get the cartoons explaining the story, and
mhm.
Tigger's out at that time. If you notice, he's there in the background in his straitjacket. So like he wasn't completely in the cage at that time. He was out, he was walking, but he was tied up. But I just think like that'd be cool. That to sort of maybe even go back and do a prequel film maybe, and sort of explain why is he in a straitjacket? Why did they then also put him in a cage on top of that? So it would be cool to sort of go back in time and explain his story a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I know there's this whole universe with Pooh that you're immersed in.
Hmm.
What was it like switching gears from that universe
Hmm.
going into Fairest of Them All as Hatter?
Yeah. I think it was interesting switching gears, but Hatter to me felt like, I mean, I love the Joker. That's like my dream role to play. So when I got Hatter sent to me, that felt it was very much like the inspiration was the Joker, a mix of a couple other characters.
Mhm.
So that to me felt like it was almost instantly I knew how I'd play it. Like obviously he's English, but he's obviously there's differences. Do you know what I mean? And he is the Mad Hatter. He's not exactly the Joker, so you got to put your own sort of spin on it. But once I got it sent to me, I instantly knew. Same with Tigger. To be fair, when Tigger got sent to me, I was like, they said Pennywise and Freddy Krueger and all these characters are inspiration. So I instantly was like, I've got an idea of how to play this. And then same with Hatter, it was like Joker and Doomhead from 31 and all these characters sort of as inspiration. And I was like, okay, like it's good as an actor when you get a role sent to you. Sometimes you get some sent and you're like, oh, like I don't know how I'd play this. Like it might take a bit of sort of experimenting, but then you get some role sent to you and you're like, oh my god, this is me. Like I know exactly what I want to do with this character. And I think the Hatter was the same as Tigger. It was sort of very much like I read it and I was like, yeah, I know what to do with this, and I get really excited from it. So it kind of felt a bit similar in a way.
Was so with Tigger, the way he is in Pooh, he's kind
Hmm.
of an assistant character to the storyline in that moment.
Hmm.
What was it like going from that role that you can do
Hmm.
so much with in such a small time frame
Hmm.
to having the main role of Hatter
Hmm.
where you have so much of the movie that you're just such a prominent tone setter?
Yeah, that's a very good question. With Tigger, I felt like I had so much time to sort of. Obviously, I knew I only had a few nights. I think it was like 3 to 5 nights was the plan, and it ended up only being 3 nights. I was killing like 5 or 6 people a night, so very, very busy nights. But I had like a month to prep, so it was crazy. And this whole month of like watching horror films and developing this character and making notes and trying out the voice and the movement and everything. And then you do 3 nights and you're done. You're like, oh my god, all that prep, and like that, you're done. I was like, it's crazy. But obviously, I was very proud of my work for it, and very grateful for the opportunity. But with Hatter, it felt like I had less time to prep with Hatter and more lines to learn, obviously, and more a bit of time to sort of develop the character. But you sort of find the character as you're doing it. I feel like with a lead, sometimes you sort of you're experimenting whilst you're still on set. Like you're sort of figuring things out. Like you kind of have an idea of who this person is, but then there'll be times when like we would do a scene, it might be a bit more improv in that scene, or you might experiment a bit more, or like the director might throw in a different line. Do you know what I mean? They're trying stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes, like, and I've heard other actors say, and it's so true, you get to like the end of the shoot and you feel like you've just figured out who this character really is, like 100% down to a T, like this is who, but you've ended, but like the shoot's done by then. And it does happen. I feel like Hat was I think he was consistent, but like by the end of the shoot, I was like, I just know. Does that make sense? Like I know
Yeah.
even more about this character, like his vulnerability, and like obviously I don't want to spoil it too much, but at the end he shows a bit more of a vulnerable side and stuff like that. I feel like when we did those that day, but that was near the end of the shoot, like the last scene of him, and I feel like there's even more layers to the character, and you're sort of figuring him out as you're playing
Mm-hmm.
him, which is very interesting. But with Tigger, I felt like he was sort of already worked out because I had so much time to prep, and I was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. With Hatter, it was a bit more like, sort of trying things out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, then great.
So,
So yeah.
would you say that with Hatter that you were able to improv a little bit more with a little bit more wiggle room?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think both had a bit of wiggle room. To be fair, I think yeah, I feel like obviously they're very different because Tigger does talk, but he's more physical. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
trying out. I think there's a lot of wiggle room in both, but it's very interesting to have like more space to play when you're being a physical role. And it's like how could we were changing around kills, which was really interesting. And I got to give credit to Reese, the director. Like he was coming up with some kills on the spot that were amazing. Like the
Mm-hmm.
great kill when I'm stabbing her, like the dance bitch kill, that one was like he came up with that on the spot. I was meant to kill her in a different way, but he looked at the environment and was like, I want to use this, and it was just to me, I was like, yeah, that sounds great, and obviously it ended up being probably my favourite kill to be fair. And then with Hatter, obviously it's more dialogue, it's less sort of
Mm-hmm.
physical, it's more talking, and then that was even fun because we were throwing in little like the bit when he's picking out stuff out the hat.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, that was never in the script. So, like, when he picks out a knife, he's like embarrassing, and then he throws it off, that kind of thing. That was just like on the day, me and the director and the other, even the other cast members and DOP, we were sort of just trying stuff out. So Tigger was more sort of improving with brutal attacks, and then
Mm-hmm.
Mad Hatter was improving with like comedy because he's quite, in some ways, funny.
Yeah.
But I think there's wiggle room with both, and I love wiggle room. Like I like that phrase that you use. I keep using it. But I love a bit of improv. I think it's fun. It's more organic as well, and it looks good on camera. So yeah.
Well, you seem like a very energized character, regardless of what role you're playing.
Hmm.
And I feel like that just brings a lot to the movie as a whole,
Hmm.
regardless of what movies they are.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's quite funny when I got cast as Tigger. A lot of people said like, "Oh, I see that," and I was like, "What does that mean?" Like, I'd tell so many like, friends and family, I'd be like, "Yeah, I got cast as Tigger in this horror film," and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I see that. I see why." I'm like, "What?" Because I think people have referred to me as that character before. So yeah, and I feel like I'm quite lucky, I guess, that I've played someone like Tigger, who's like a complete, just energetic maniac who never is always,
Hmm.
running on adrenaline. And then you get Mad Hatter, who's also a psycho, and he's never has a dull moment. Do you know what I mean? So I guess I can sort of implement my own sort of energy, I guess, as a person into those sort of characters.
With the casting in both of
Hmm.
those movies, what was it like having a predominantly male cast with Pooh
Hmm.
versus the princesses and the predominantly female cast in Fairest of Them All? Like,
Yeah.
were you guys able to feed off of each other in the same ways?
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because I think with Tigger as well, like if you notice in the film, I'm not really with the other guys at all.
Hmm.
Like I had no scenes with Pooh, I had no scenes with Al. I met them on set, like very briefly, we'd cross paths. That's like they're going off and I'm coming on or whatever. But I never had any scenes with him, so it's quite a solo character really. And obviously, I had the people, the ravers that I was killing in the scenes, and obviously I worked with Scott as well. So I did work with people, but it felt a lot more solo Tigger, and I felt like as well, like when you've got those prosthetics on, it's weird. You almost feel shut off from the world anyway. Like you kind of, even when they cold cut, like and they're sort of changing angles or changing the scene, you sort of stay in that zone. Like I was talking to people, but it's a bit
Hmm.
hard when you got this heavy prosthetics and you're sweating and you got the teeth in. You kind of just want to stay there in this rage-filled like mood. But with Mad Hatter, obviously, yeah, it's predominantly a female cast, but it's also just a lot more actors for me to work with, and the actors I worked with were great. And obviously, like for example, the tea party scene that took quite a while to do that scene, like a couple of days, and it was just great because like it was a lot more open. I was a lot more chatty with people. We were having a lot of fun on set. So they're two quite different experiences. But and I love them both to be fair, because sometimes it's nice just to stay in the zone with
Hmm.
Tigger, and sometimes it's nice to have if you know your lines well enough and you're there, you can sort of have fun. So one felt like more of a solo role, and one more felt like a bit more of an ensemble. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With everyone, because some of the scenes are it's a very talky scene, especially for my character as well. So yeah.
So when you were playing Tigger
Hmm.
and you said "Let's bounce," I
Hmm.
cheered. I was like,
Okay, yeah,
that that was
I love
like
that.
solidified everything for me.
That's my line. Yeah, yeah.
Um, with the way that the mask is set up,
Hmm.
do you think that in future Tigger movies the we'll see the mask evolve a little bit more so that way you have more dialogue?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's a good question. I'm not too sure how much I can say, but I do. There is an idea of changing around the appearance of the characters. Whether that would change how he sounds, it may be. Yeah, I guess the thing with the that was more so the teeth. Like the teeth, obviously, are quite large in the
Hmm.
top set, and it can be quite. Some of the lines stayed in. Some of them are like ADR, and you have to sort of go over it again. Um, but I don't know, it kind of helps though. I feel like the more gear you got on, you just feel more like it's crazy. Like I honestly want everyone to try it out if they can somehow put on some prosthetics, whether that's for a film or like a Comic Con or something. It just changes you. It's crazy. So I like how heavy it all is.
Okay.
Even if it does like affect your lines or affect something else, your movement or whatever, I think it does help you sort of immerse yourself in that character though. But yeah, I think there's definitely there's room for changing their appearance definitely for all the characters, and I don't see why not. I think it's exciting to change their looks and stuff like that each film.
Would you
So,
like to see Tigger kind of be able to get out of the jacket to see what he
mhm.
could essentially, I don't know, to see what his entire persona could do?
Yeah, yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, I love the straight jacket. I do love it because it just sort of is such a good costume for him. It just sort of explains his character perfectly. Like this, he's in a straight jacket and it's ripped open, and that just explains who he is. So if he was going to have a costume change, I don't know what would top that. To be fair, You could, I don't know, I don't even know. Maybe some chains on him, like a zoo animal,
Hmm.
or something like that would be kind of cool. Maybe some like chains that have been broken off and are hanging off his neck or something. But I think whatever you change for him, I don't know. It's got to feel a bit or look a bit restricted. Do you know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
he's meant to be this prisoner, and he's like just not safe for anyone really. So I think the idea that he has got these straps on him that have been torn and stuff, kind of, it's just a great symbol for the character and what he is and who he is. So I quite like the fact that he's a bit strange. I quite like it, to be fair. It makes you want to break free more, and it shows on camera.
I think if they incorporated something like
Hmm.
um the chains could be a key factor into like how he commits a lot of his killings.
Yeah, yeah. More weapons. Like he hasn't really
Hmm.
got weapons. Where like Owl uses a few weapons. Pooh obviously uses loads of weapons. Piglet has his big stick. And Tig obviously just uses claws and teeth and stuff. So yeah, there's always room for. That's another thing as well. It'll be interesting if he does use some weapons in future films, and or does he just like eating people? Do you know what I mean? Or using his claws? It's maybe that's just like his thing. But if he had chains, then I guess that'd be kind of cool to. I don't know, choke people out or something like that. It'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
Okay, all great ideas.
Yeah, no, I
Like
appreciate it.
there's
You're giving me great ideas.
the possibilities are endless.
100%,
But I want to
yeah.
shift gears again,
Okay.
and I heard that you were working on a new role, new movie
Yes.
coming out,
Yes.
and it's was it Dark Secrets Chapter 2?
Yes, Dark Secrets. Yeah,
Okay.
Game of Death Chapter 2. Yeah, yeah.
What can you tell me about that movie?
I think quite a lot, to be fair. I think, yeah, it's a very exciting film. So it's interesting how that came about. So the director's a massive fan of the Winnie films, and he asked me to do a cameo in their first film because they won like a world record for like the most cameos in a film. It's crazy. It's really cool.
Wow.
And he asked me to do like a 30-second cameo, and he gave the character a name, and he gave him a story, and gave him what this is. And I recorded it at my own house, and it was like a news scene or something. And he got back to me like a few months later and said we really liked sort of what you did, and we're hoping if you want to maybe develop that character even more and actually give him like a full character arc in the second one, which is going to be set 15 years before. And he said you're interested, and I thought it sounds great. And it's a character I've not really done on film much. So like his name's Brian, the character Brian J. Williams, and he's very different to what I've done. So I've done a lot of killers so far and a sort of lot of physical roles. And he's a physical role, but he's just a bit of he's intelligent really, but he's kind of comes off as a bit of an idiot. He's like a bit of he's an alcoholic and he's addicted to weed, and he just plays games on his phone when it's a really serious mission, and he's just not all there. So it's really fun to play a character that's a bit more different to what I've done
Hmm.
before, and show off sort of what you can do a bit more. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's coming out I think later this year. I think the first one's coming out very soon, and then the
Okay.
second one. But those guys are great. I mean, Timo's a great director. He's done some absolute classic like horror films in the past, and yeah, it was great to work with those people, and it was such a fun time as well. And say it was really fun. So yeah, but very different sort of character, which is I'm grateful to have that.
So are we looking at this movie being more of timeline completely set in a prequel setting, or are we looking at more of like a flashback type movie?
No, it's all prequel. I think there's a couple things that are present day, I think, but our whole story was
Okay.
all prequel. So like there was, I think it's like 10 to 15 years before, I think. But yeah, after I did the original thing, it was only like 30 seconds, and they said, "Yeah, do you want to develop it and show who he was before, who he was in this clip, and like how he became like that?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And so yeah, for prequel setting, which is very interesting to do a prequel.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very different.
Would you be interested in doing something that's more in the modern day of that character?
Hmm.
Like in possibly even a third movie?
Yeah, definitely up for the third one. I don't know what's been announced yet. Don't fucking announce anything, but definitely, I think the third one would then take place, yeah, present day, or maybe I don't even know. I can't really speak on what they're planning. He's always working, Timo. He's always got great ideas popping up, and he's super fun to work with. And it's just fun to have a character like that, very different, and sort of get away from the. I mean, it's still a horror film, so I'm still doing
Hmm.
some bad things, but I'm not a killer. I'm like doing it to survive. I'm not doing it to out of pleasure, which is what I'm normally used to. So yeah.
Can you see yourself doing any other genres that you would like to kind of dip your toe into
Hmm.
as like trial and error to see what you kind of fit into as a niche?
Yeah, I mean, I've done quite a lot of comedy. I love comedy. Like, my two favorite genres are probably horror and comedy, and action as well. So I've done quite a bit of that. The only one I haven't really done a lot of, I've done a tiny bit of it recently actually, is like romance. I've not really done any romance, and I don't think it's something I'm that interested in, like a romance sort of film or rom com. But like, I don't want to never say never. Do you know what I mean? Never say never.
Hmm.
Like, I don't want to completely shut that off. So maybe romance, but I'd love to do more comedy. Obviously, horror I love doing. Action's fun, but yeah, comedy is something I really sort of feel free in doing. I love sort of especially like improv on like movies and stuff like that. Like just having fun with it. So yeah, maybe some more comedy, maybe a little bit of romance in there. I'm sort of just finding stuff out. As good as an actor, to sort of I'm a couple years into the industry now, so it's great to just sort of trial and error, like you
Hmm.
said earlier, and just see, try that. Does that work for me? If not, you sort of push it to the one side and just sort of navigate your way through the industry and see what you enjoy doing. And yeah, and it's just fun doing it that way. I think just sort of jumping in deep.
So, looking at how you prefer comedy and horror,
Hmm.
where do you stand on the debate of comedic horror?
I love it. I love comedic
Okay.
horror. Yeah, yeah. I love. I grew up in Scary Movie. I love A Haunted House. Love all those films. And I was recently talking as well to someone about that sort of idea, and it's always been something on my mind for like especially like the last few months.
Hmm.
Something that I've thought about. I'd love to do. But it's just if the opportunity comes up, to do something like that. I think that'd be super fun. And like with Tigger, for example, I know he's not completely comedic, but it felt good as well. Like when we went to like America and like, we watched it along with the fans and stuff. That like he was getting a few laughs, which is something you never know if it's going to land. Like some of Tigger's lines, and that was a great feeling to be like. There's some bits that are really gory, and it's like, oh, what the hell? But there's also some bits where it's like I actually found that funny, which is quite interesting. But obviously, to delve more into that would be great. Do like a spoof horror film or something. I love those sort of films, and that's my kind of comedy. Like I love stupid comedy. So yeah, I'd love to do something like that.
So, do you have any new projects that are coming up outside of like the Pooniverse?
Yeah. So it's just I don't know what I can say. So we've got the Pooniverse, yeah, so that's coming up, and then we got like you said, Dark Secrets number three's already in development, which is really fun. And there's like it's hard to you can't really say what you're going up for because there's a couple of things that I'm sort of in the works with
Hmm.
at the moment, but I don't know if I can announce it. Do you know what I mean? It's so hard. Um,
That's
I th-
okay.
yeah, no. When I do know, I'll be sure to message you guys and or on the next interview let you guys know. But when you're in these processes of like sort of stuff happening, you don't know how much you can how much you
Right.
can say. So just keep your eyes peeled is what I'd say.
We're always watching, still
Thank you,
petitioning
appreciate that.
for Joker and all.
Oh yes, see that's something. Yeah, we discussed that last time, and that's something I definitely want to push. It's still on my mind, very much on the forefront of my mind. And there's a few people I want to talk to about the possibility of that happening. So yeah, that'd be fun. That's another thing. I guess I can mention that. That's something I want to push. But yeah, anything else, I just don't know. I get too nervous. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Well, you seem super excited about any of the possibilities, which is fantastic.
Hmm.
That's half the battle.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, you gotta have fun with it. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah,
Yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Is
no
that all
problem.
done? No.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, I don't know what you said. What did you say? Sorry.
Ah,
No, but yeah,
I'm good.
no. It's exciting. The future's gonna be exciting. So and like you said, it's just having fun with it. And like you said, it's half the battle. It's a good way of looking at it. To be fair, it's a good way of looking at it. And yeah, you got to be enthusiastic about the stuff that's coming up. There's like, if you're not enjoying it, like, well, not even just acting, like anything, I just think, what's the point? Do you know,
Right.
like, what is the point? And that's sort of my approach to it, and anything else really. And yeah, that's just. I think if you're not enjoying it, then get the fuck out. Do you know what I mean? And choose another path, really.
So I don't know who said it, but I heard that if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's very true.
And
Yeah.
I feel like that ambition, regardless of what your craft is,
Hmm.
As long as you enjoy it, you never work.
Yeah, it's very true. And I feel like you can obviously, even if it's like your dream or you're doing something you enjoy, you can get stressed. Obviously, like
Right.
obviously anyone gets stressed at any job. I feel like you've got to remind yourself if it is your passion and it's something that you wanted to do and you're now doing it, you need to sort of maybe remind. Do you know what I mean? Like I sometimes remind myself that I'm grateful to where I'm at today. Like a couple of years ago, I would be like amazed if I sort of saw what was going on, and like, you just got to have a reality check and you know, sort of remind yourself that this is what you want to do, you know, and just sort of stay grateful, I guess.
Yeah.
If that's the one thing that people can take away from what I'm saying.
You're never going to always have the lows. You got to take the highs and lows together.
That's it. Yeah, 100%. That is it. And yeah, it's inevitable as well. You can have highs and lows, but you got to stay positive. I think staying positive is like the biggest
Hmm.
thing. Just anything that could be perceived as negative, like rejection or like anything. Just turning that into a positive and just sort of a redirection, I guess. Especially with acting as well. Acting is one of those things that there's so much rejection in
Yeah.
acting, and obviously with like stuff like auditions and that kind of process can be brutal at times. But you got to remind yourself this is what you love doing, and you got to sort of remind yourself the good things that are happening or good things that are coming out. And I think that like just that kind of mindset will just keep you on the right path. I think.
Yeah. It's all about
Yeah,
perspective.
that's it. It's all about
Yeah.
perspective. Yeah, 100%. Even the low stuff that you think are the L's, an L could be changed into just redirection
Hmm.
or whatever, or just sort of bounce back. And then when you do come back, just learn from it and just sort of then don't make the same mistake. You know.
Right.
So yeah,
But I want to thank you for coming on again.
thank
I'm
you.
sure
Appreciate it.
I'm sure that we'll see you again. We look forward to everything that you have coming, everything
Hmm.
that we don't know about.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Just keep your eyes peeled, and yeah, I'll be more than happy to come back on and talk about stuff when I can talk about it, whenever that may be. So yeah.
in in all due time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but thanks for having me on. Hopefully my sound was okay because my mic's been really playing up. So
Yeah.
hopefully it was all clear.
I
But
think
yeah,
we're good.
cool, nice
Okay.
one, cool.